My name's Chuck, and I come from a Dead by Daylight background, but with some of the recent changes that happened to Dead by Daylight, it just hasn't been it for me, and I need a little break from the game. And thanks to Sonic Crossworlds being out at the time, Sonic was in my YouTube feed again, the stars aligned, somehow came across Outcome Memories. I was excited to play the game, so I downloaded Roblox just for OM. You know what I was met when I loaded up the game for the first time? Your account needs to be a week old and able to play this game. So I cried, and then I waited a week, and I've been playing this game ever since mid-October. I've been hooked on this game ever since mid-October, and it's been a good break for me ever since then from Dead by Daylight. But it's been roughly a month, it's been my main game for a moment, and I just want to place my thoughts on the game in the short little time that I played it. I don't claim to be an expert and know what I'm talking about, whatever, but I just want to help boost this game however I can and just address some pain points I've had with it, and I just want to see this game do good overall. So hey, if you like talking about OM, you found the right place. So thank you for tuning in. Please do leave a little like, comment, subscribe, follow YouTube or Twitch. It all goes a long way to helping out the channel. Most of the gameplay in this video will be on my own Twitch, will be in the comments and description of the video as well. So yeah, first I want to say, if somehow any developers come across this, thank you for Outcome Memories. This has been an amazing game, inspired me some new friends, and I just want to point out things that I love about the game and hope some of the most obvious pain points can be looked at besides my nitpicks. And just, yeah, thank you, period. And I'm sorry things haven't been the best for the team overall lately, but do not let the impatient people get to you. Some people are just entitled, but just thank you for this amazing game, one way or another, and don't let the negative people get to you, please. Just don't. Anyways, let's get into the video, and yeah, here are the pros and cons of Outcome Memories 0.1. Let's talk about the characters in this game. Let's get right to it. Sonic is overall fine in my eyes. He does his job. He comes in for saves with drop dash and peel out. He's hit and run, and he's a protector. He's the fastest survivor when it comes to running speed, so he can make good distance. The only thing I hate about Sonic is how long drop dash can last for. Whether it's a hit or miss, it lasts for too long in my opinion. It's a very dodgeable attack and it can be played around, but you and Sonic are just kind of forcing this awkward back and forth, trying to hit each other, trying to dodge. And it can be very annoying when when you're trying to chase down somebody and you got this little blue pinball right behind you that you just can't hit because he's invincible during the move. But overall, very dodgeable attack and can be played around. The only thing I will judge Sonic mains is from my solo queue Sonic stack cannot peel out right, and you will drag me into a wall or the EXE as a cream. Please don't ever do that. Dodge is an okay mechanic, but the higher speed and the extra HP, it can make Sonic feel like he's not worth chasing most of the time. And a lot of Sonic misses happen, or if Sonic's dead, it's because the Sonics sacrifice themselves or try to get the killer's attention. But overall, very fun in my eyes. It is cool how he can do drive-bys with peel out, because he can grab a Tails, Knuckles, whoever else, drop him off the EXE and get a surprise hit off. So a little extra depth to Sonic goes a long way. A little extra depth to any character goes a very long way. So I'm happy Sonic can do that. Like I said, does his job, can be played around, just knowing how long drop dash can last for. Speaking of death, let's talk about probably one of the most balanced survivors of all of this entire game, which is Knuckles, who has only one thing that I absolutely hate about him, but that could just be a complete skill issue down the road. Knuckles has a lot of flexibility. Being able to use the charge up of his punch as a block, take reduced damage, helps to stall and waste for time, especially in rage. Being able to counter out a punch goes a long way too as a mix-up. Being able to counter charge is very good as well for body blocking your team and a bunch of other things. Overall, Knuckles has a lot of options to survive and stall, which just gives him so much in this game. And also, if you get hit during charge up of the punch, you can just cancel and keep your speed boost. So you could technically take 4 hits when you're supposed to only be able to take 3 to X, because X's damage is 42. So you could technically take 3 hits if I'm correct, if you're full health. So that's awesome. But the only thing that I think you can touch up on Knuckles is an audio cue to encounter his ending like Eggman's shield. Because Knuckles gets the noise when it starts, he glows, but you don't really get a noise when it ends, and it's a little bit of awkward standstill. And you know, is it 4 seconds? Is it 5 seconds? You get into a little awkward back and forth with Knuckles sometimes. The one thing that does make or break Knuckles a little bit is maps, tiny bit map dependent, with his wall cling ability, being able to jump back and forth between walls and hold on to them. Some maps have more and less that Knuckles can use. Like, for example, Green Hill and X's Castle. X's Castle has good corridors and whatnot that he can definitely ping pong back and forth, which is definitely fun, but outside of certain rooms, I can't really say Knuckles has too much going on for him. Green Hill, on the other hand, the walls are a little inconsistent with their collision. There's very few spots where Knuckles can overall wall cling. Really only with the bridge with the roof on it can Knuckles play around with the walls. But besides that, he does not have very many spots that he can go to, and that's his only mobility in the game. So Green Hill's not the best, but when it comes to Not Perfect and YCR, there are some troublesome spots, with Not Perfect being the lesser of the two evils. When it comes to the towers, Knuckles can use the spring to either 1. Jump up on the tower, jump away. You could use the spring to wall cling to the side of the tower, hold on to it, glide. There are a lot of mix-ups that Knuckles and 2011X or any other killers down the road can do with these springs and towers, and I think this is how Knuckles wall cling needs to work going forward. Because what happens with the towers are not perfect? Well, you can hold on to it, watch the killer be bamboozled, or if the killer knows you like to do this, hop on the spring, don't land on a tower, fall on top of you, just charges as you do the spring and catch you on the tower itself. There is a lot of back and forth that Knuckles and the killer can do with the springs and towers are not perfect. Plus, if you charge Knuckles, you could drag him to the void and be in a spot where his teammates cannot save him. Overall, I think this is how it needs to go forward with Knuckles wall cling. I think not perfect I think that's just how it needs to work going forward. You need to have springs regularly available to deal with Knuckles. But of course, this is the entire part of the Knuckles rant here that could be a complete skill issue on my side just because of one bad YCR game I had, and I can 100% accept that. What's going on here was a skill issue. So let's get into that with the footage right here. Actually, real quick, this is good timing on the background footage. This is exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to stalling in Rage. This little gremlin just wants to run around me. I can still jump, I can still move, I take less damage. If he tries to charge at me, I can counter, or I can whiff and counter just like that. That's the perfect example I'm talking about right there. And then I got called a sweat for that, but you know, you can't take the DVD player out of the Outcome Memories player. As you can see, I have Amy down, I have Rage ready, and I have a medal that's going to die. So I feel very good about my chances here, being able to take out kind of whoever I want at the moment. But what happens here is, with some very strong walls and springs on YCR, like I said, I felt confident having two dead already, and I wanted to chase my friend Knuckles here. So let's see what exactly happens with that. Eggman has only made himself known to heal Meadow. I'm friends with Nick. He hides and master plans in the corner for 7 minutes, so Nick might as well not be present. My friend Evil Brian here, he's using the springs here, using these balconies and whatnot, and is overall dodging very good. Like here he is, armoring through my Rage as well, counters the mix-up. But being out in the middle like this, once he clings onto the walls, I do not have a very good way of catching him. I have to use that spring, but it goes on cooldown. He's out in the middle here. And then of course Tails is out in the open as well. I could get lasered at any point here as well. So once again, all this could just be a skill issue, all because I feel like I want to take out Knuckles because I got the Rage to do it, and I don't really feel like going after Sonic because of dodge, and he's fast. Nick, like I said, has made himself known twice, but he just master plans the corner. Tails, I have to charge to get to him as well because of Tails being high up on the little balconies and rafters on this map as well. Overall, it just does not feel like a good experience Like I said, YCR middle is very out in the open, so like I said, this 100% could be a skill issue on my side, but I feel like this is a little problematic here. That's all I gotta say about Knuckles. Very balanced, just one potential skill issue. Let's get into the others now. Tails is a very interesting case. He's not too strong, he's not too weak otherwise, but he could use some love. Very, very one note at the moment at the time of this video. Super map dependent as well. He's a sniper, but what happens when he doesn't have too many good spots to go to? X's castle's corridors, you're kinda out in the open and charging. You could glide up to some balconies, but there's not a lot of room to run. Once you shoot, you don't have too much space to go to and you need your team. Because being only corridors, X can just charge up to you as well. Green Hill is a fine map for Tails, but there aren't very many high up spots for him to have a good vantage point. You can only be on one side of the map, as the caves and cliffs of this map block some viewpoints, and trees covered the most of the middle of the map, so you gotta do a little bit of guesswork as well. So not the worst map, but definitely not the best for me either. While not perfect, and YCR is heaven for Tails. Very few spots he can't see what's going on in not perfect's towers. Plenty of sniper spots in the middle of YCR that he can fly up to. In Force 2011, X have to use his abilities to get Tails. Back to the Knuckles rant earlier, I can't really go for Tails because I don't have a spring to get up on those high up balconies, and I have to use a charge to get to Tails on YCR. You know, the good Tails spots. So sometimes Tails is just a god that you just can't chase. You have to use your abilities to get up to him. But that is more of a map issue than anything. That's more of a 2011X issue. Not having regularly available verticality, because verticality is key in this game. Fleetway will have flight, Colossus can just climb, Tripwire will just straight up float. But X, he's got to use charge to get at those high spots. He's got to use springs. No other killer will have this issue in 0.2. They have means of getting around. So X is just left hurting up against Tails and Knuckles in some high up spots. So we'll just have to see what happens down the road. I know Tails will get his buff to be able to carry other survivors, so that will give Glide a bit of versatility and will be a good escape option, potentially allowing him to help out in Rage more than a shot and whatnot. So, like I said, we'll have to see what happens down the road with Tails. It's clearly getting some love, but we have to see what happens down the road with that. Metal Sonic is my main who I've been loving the most so far in this game. When it comes to Metal, he's a tank in the game, and has a 50% damage reduction to all damage sources. Where he has only 2 simple abilities, he just works similar to Knuckles. Destructive Charge, is a mobility and stun tool, fully controlled by your camera, meaning you can miss and still get hits. It always feels nice to be able to twist and turn once you get the hang of it, and hitting some last second stuns that you normally would have missed. And, of course, being able to extend the grab once grabbing any EXE always feels clutch as well with Metal, so hitting those curves around, the feeling in Metal is just very nice. Plus, if you can space and time it as well, you can go into springs and whatnot and be able to boost yourself like that. Destructive Charge is everything for Metal, and it just feels good. It can also be a good escape tool as well. Being able to go to springs as well, jump up, depending on how high the spring is, you could absolutely use that to your advantage and get a destructive charge off, but this provides some time for the EXE to counter you as well. Being able to body block you mid-charge as well, intentionally when you're on lower HP, or hitting you out of it, because if Metal is hit in the startup of charge, he loses his armor and takes regular damage, which very much hurts him a lot if he was already on low damage and trying to escape you. So, it is a little bit of 50-50 trying to play around with jumps and rolls for Metal. That also could be used aggressively, getting a roll to get you just the tiniest bit of extra distance as well. So overall, good mix up that Metal can use with charge as well. And the trade-off of Metal is that he needs to use his HP as his resource, and his stuns give the most rage out of any character in this game. So you need to be very careful when you choose to save someone and whatnot from the EXE. Of course, this only matters for 2011X, but for others who might be faster down the road as well, like Colossus and Fleetway, Metal Sonic is definitely going to need his team more than ever down the road. Plus, when X recovers from Rage, he's faster, which means he can pop it and take out Metal easier as well. But you have to make the choice with Metal. Do you stun the killer straight away, or do you drag him away so that way you get him away further from your teammates? Because you can just not slam into a wall. He still gets stunned for roughly the same amount of time regardless, but it is a pick and choose. How do you want to do with the EXE once you've grabbed him? So that's a little bit of versatility in the middle that I do enjoy myself. Yeah, most charges will leave you anywhere with 110 to 80 HP. All that extra HP doesn't mean anything if you get focused down. Invis and GT finds metal easily. Even better when metal repairs. Self-repairs, do or die metal from metal. Loud noise, without an Eggman or Tails, you need to wait for someone else to be in chase, Invis or GT BDUs, or any other mobility options for killers down the road. Because you cannot move at all. You need your teammates and you need to know what is going on in the moment to heal. But something that Metal did used to be able to do, I don't know if it was a bug or whatever, but you could jump while self-repairing. So that used to be the tiniest bit of defense up against GT, but I can get why that was removed. But without a Metal or Tails, Metal is going to be out of the action for at least roughly 15 to 20 seconds. It always feels tense when you're healing. You can only heal up to 150, but if you're lucky, you get to 149 and heal up to 156. Metal does his job as a hit and run character. You can try to find Metal and take him head on, but that armor will slow you down, or wait for his charge to hit you and take him down that way. Metal is a time waster and good at what he does. Ideal to get him out in Rage will be the first to take out overall, because Eggman loses half of his purpose once Metal is out the picture. The one true pain point I do want to talk about Metal is his danger radar. If you are close to an EXE, as of now, if X teleports, goes invises, or whatever, your danger radar will get stuck at the same level that it was before 2011X when invis or GT'd. Of course, this is a 2011X issue, but any other teleports or, stealth mechanics down the road can mess with the radar down the road, so I hope this does get looked at, because this is something you do deal with every single game you play with Metal. It's not a one-off thing with it. This is something that happens every game with a 2011X. You have to just deal with that. Otherwise, Metal just works. I can't really say too much else about him. Clear ups and downs. Can be annoying, but you have the tools to get him. He can body block a charge as well, because he takes less damage during a charge as well. So, Metal is the protector and sacrifice card. He does what he's built to do. Alright, up next we have Cream, who is the only support character in the game right now. Being able to heal and whatnot, but very few options in chase. She's cute, she's small, has great cosmetics and emotes. You will die first. There is no other way around it. She resets all progress that the EXE is made if she's alive. If the team is saving each other, that means they're getting healed. You hide and wait for your team to be hurt the entire game. But you are the glue to your team, and they need you as much as you need them. Cream needs your team harder than anyone else in the game currently. And that will always be the downfall of Cream. Knowing that you have a good team or not, the saving grace of Cream is that her heal does have iframes as of the time of this video. It feels great when you time your heal when the EXE would have swung at you, watching them be confused and try to smack at you 2 other times, only for you to dash into them and get speed boosts. Now this is not foolproof, because you 100% can get hit out of your heal if they do know the timing before you can dash, but most do not. I've only can account maybe 6 or 7 times that I've been hit out of my heal iframes this week alone. Not enough know it, but the few who do can get their timing down. So it would be funny if Colossus down the road just cannot grab a Cream for some reason. That would be kind of funny if somehow that's true. But this also goes for 2011X's charge as well. You're one defense up against him. If a 2011X tries to charge you, you can just pop heal, get a quick 10 or 5 HP, and just completely ignore the charge, dash away as well. My only two nitpicks with Cream is the dash. A very hit or miss ability. You're invincible, but how much distance do you really make? Dashing into the killers or others gives you a speed boost, as well as cancelling your heal. Cream will, however, dash where she is facing, not the camera itself. So, you must do a 180 to try and hit the killer for some speed. I'd rather it be like a second and she flashes and she goes where the camera is facing. Plus, dashing in the air while gliding does nothing. I'm sure you still do get the iframes, but like it doesn't give you extra distance, but you can still jump and dash as well. So, jump and dash if you want to do it. But the main problem with Cream is that she needs a way to be able to see her team. This only helps solo queues, as coordinated teams will know each other where each other is no matter what. So this only helps solo queue whether Cream just gets wall hacks of like teammates within 16 meters of her or something like that. She can see injured people through walls, but they have to be injured first. The aura of them could get more intensified or something like that. She needs something to just be able to know what's going on, plus it helps her know where the action's going on, so she can position herself right to either avoid a killer or group up with the right teammates, whatever the case can be. Glide is a fine ability, but is very slow in the air. Map dependent like Tails is, not perfect in YCR, or wonderful spots for Cream. Green Hill doesn't have very many great spots, and the springs barely launch you into the air, so if you glide there, you're just kind of an easy target. One thing that is unique to Cream, however, is with springs, so if you can glide at any point if you hop on them. Yeah, you can just cancel the spring hide anytime that you get on one, so that could be the tiniest bit of a mix-up. Kind of like Knuckles as well, more so applies to YCR. Not YCR, not perfect. The only side tangent I have for Cream is, please leave the healing field when you're fully healed. Cream cannot cancel it on her own without dashing, so please leave once you're fully healed, because the EXE will hear Cream, and I can't do anything, or Creams can't do anything. Overall, Cream does her job, but Dash just does not feel like a very rewarding or engaging ability overall. The man with the master plan. Eggman's entire gimmick is to be annoying and flip you off and run in the other direction. With his jetpack boost allowing him to run fast, he can get away easily, shield up by some time, double jump to bait out hits and dodge, reach up higher places that the EXE can't normally get to, whereas to slow himself down a little bit too. Eggman will survive, but now we run into issues like Sonic. Eggman can feel not too rewarding to chase. Eggman's a battle of resources. Did you invis to him? He runs away. Use charge to catch Eggman? He shields. GT shields or runs away. You have to save your abilities if you find Eggman. But then why would you choose to chase Eggman? He only lives to help Metal heal, so if Metal is out of the picture, Eggman loses half of his purpose, and Metal is a much higher priority of a target anyways. In my eyes, it's never worth chasing Eggman down unless he's one of the final survivors. Of course, like I said, you just kinda have to find Eggman naturally and then use your abilities to catch up with him. Like I said, battle resources. Now, he cannot be selfish, using his shield to block others, using to give revives, help Cream healing, or whatever. But he can also run with it as well, to body block charges and whatnot. But his cooldowns are decently long, and if he uses it to help the team, that's using it to help the team, not himself. With long cooldowns, that could be a little troublesome seeing Eggman actually try to do anything for the team. He's selfish, which is true to his character, so if you care about lore accuracy, that's that. But if he goes out of his way, he's easier to take down. The true issue with Eggman is his jump cooldown is non-existent. He can do regular jumps at the landing very fast compared to everyone else, who at least needs a second and a half or two to jump again. Plus, he can still have his double jump ready, so he can just be a bouncy little ball just going all over the place. But as I was making this video, that's already been addressed, so thank you OM devs. But let's get into our final survivor at the time of making this video. I want to give a huge thanks to my pal Navi for helping with this section. He's my residential Amy main. Design-wise, the cards give her a value of unpredictability at first, but as a killer who is knowledgeable about Amy, can still generally suss out her cards by how she's moving, so you must pay attention to Amy more than other survivors. That can make Amy a little bit of fun and annoying to chase. You never know what you're getting when it comes to Amy. If she's being aggressive, she probably has Sun Emperor or Full Sun. Good cards. If she's trying to avoid you, hot garbage. If you're really familiar with her move speeds and thresholds, it's easy to tell if she has World Strength or anything else like that. Order World. If you're... So, if you see her constantly tracking you and she has Hammer Throw ready to fly on the fly, she's def got World, or she has her volume cranked up to the max to hear Invis footsteps. Sun is easy to tell because you smack her and you watch her gain HP. Generally, if you're the killer and you can tell that she has World Strength or Moon Strength or something, she's an immediate target because she just has no way to run away from you. Even if though Strength gives her a longer stun timer, it does not mean anything if she is so slow and cannot help herself. Is Amy being aggressive? Like I said, Sun Emperor, Full Sun Emperor Full, whatever. Less damage, healing, or speed. If she's being aggressive and getting in the moment, then you know she has one of those good cards going for her. Is she being passive or defensive? Slower, longer stuns, or even full strength, just running at normal speed but slightly longer stuns. She's probably being defensive and she's running for her life to reroll. Like I said, you just have to pay attention to Amy. Is she recovering HP? How fast or slow is she? Because that is how you determine if Amy is worth chasing. Oh yeah, and we only talked about the cards. She has a counter and Hammer Throw. Faster movement speeds allow her to hide around corners and make saves, and outrun the killer and heal up, heal her entire team if she's left alone for too long. Hammer Bounce is definitely a fun little escape tool. Sorry, I'm just looking back at this footage. This is 90% of Amy gameplay. You are just blinded by the moon, so get used to that if you want to pick up Amy. But Hammer Bounce is a fun escape tool, gives you good distance, but you lose out on having a stun that could save you or someone else if X leaves you. Hammer Throw is a good projectile, and it's been trademarked as the Hammer Mine because the more the hammer lingers out on the ground, the more it has an active hitbox as long as it's moving. So you could do trick shots off of walls, staircases, or hills, slopes, anything like that, and you'll get an unintentional hit. But I am a Springtrap main in DBD, so I do understand the assignment. Amy has lots of team play, or ways to keep herself safe, plus Hammer Bounce. She's great in smaller lobbies, because her stuns aren't for very long unless she has strength, so even if she makes saves, she does not give a lot of rage overall. But with decently long cooldowns, once she uses her counter, and she has some bad cards, she can be in a little bit of trouble. The only true pain point about Amy is that I want her to not be able to roll the same deck twice, because as of right now, there is no repeat system for any of the cards that you have, or the exact same deck. That could lead to Amy being a little interesting if she couldn't get the same cards, or at least one of the same cards, because she could get Sun on a bad hand, but re-rolls and gets Emperor Full, whatever, but she can't get Sun again. Overall, I wish there was at least some kind of repeat protection from the same deck that you literally just had, because sometimes you could re-roll the same exact cards 3 times in a row, or 2 times, so that's the only pain point about Amy, some kind of repeat protection. But let's get into the blue gumball that y'all have been waiting for probably the most about this video. We all know he sucks, but he's actually not bad. Let's get into it, shall we? 2011X, where do I start with this Lou Gumbo looking odd dude? Being the only killer in the game was a huge mistake. The game needed at least 2 before going to public. Those who want to play killer are stuck with only one option, and kids are what make the killers. Survivors are fun with all their different skills and whatnot, but you have the team. The killer, it is all you. You need something that you enjoy as a killer. And with only one way to play, it's never a good experience in the long term. It's why so many people have EXE chance turned off, and so many leave when they see they are the EXE. Of course, some mix-up is what survivors and killers need to keep guessing what's coming, knowing what both sides can do. You're going to have your more popular and lesser picked ones, but they still need to function at the end of the day. X would be the mid-tier of the game. Not bad, but its strengths are starting chases fast, singling people out, and it stops there. Invis gives you wall hacks and speed, but removes your ability to jump, which I find super annoying. Little bumps like rocks, balconies, and X's castle, I feel like would be... they just get in the way of X a lot. I wish you could just jump. It doesn't have to be a high jump, I just wish you could. Plus, it would allow you to have some unpredictable angles a little bit. Anything to give X a tiny bit of a push. You do get a bigger jump coming out of it though. A little frog leap, I've heard some people call it. I do not know if it is intentional or not, but you do jump bigger. You do jump, you do have a like, bigger jump, whatever. Words are hard. A big issue with Invis though is that after being stunned, if you go invisible immediately to capture to anybody, you will still see the stun resistance on 2011X's shadow as he invises. So sometimes you can use your stealth move, but it's not even a stealth move because you can just still see him coming right at you. And even when you uncloak away from somebody, you make a loud noise, which does lead to some 50-50 sometimes, more so on higher levels and like balconies with X's castle, but not too much going for it after that. The saving grace of it though is the spring tech, which I don't know will be removed, but some key points on Green Hill Springs and Not Perfect allows you to get hits that you shouldn't. When you go into a spring while invisible, you boost yourself twice as high, and you can be high enough to not trigger the uncloaked jump scare and get some easy hits, since everyone wants to be on towers and Not Perfect, or hanging around somewhere in the middle of Green Hill. I can find the right clip. I have the perfect example of that on one of my streams. Here is an example of the spring tech in action right here. I have my friend Navi on the Amy. I get extra height from the mid-spring, and I'm able to down him and get a 3k on this other one, what would otherwise be a 2k Green Hill game. So I will freaking take it. So that is the one saving grace of Invis. But having to rely on springs to get an unintentional jump on somebody is not always the best plan. Having to rely on things out of your factor that aren't part of the kit naturally never usually goes too well. But Charge is his next ability. Catch someone low HP or using a moving ability, use it to get some downs and kills. It's not a fancy ability, but it allows me to get high up in spots. But it's only strong when somebody is singled out, because you can be hit out of it by any teammate, Sonic, Metal, aiming snipe, whatever happens. When it comes to some mats like YCR said before, on my Knuckles rant, Tails can get up to high spots, have to use a GG or Charge to get to them, but the middle is very open, and you can't just leave Tails alone exactly, because he can make saves on anyone else. But like I was saying before, Tails needs to have his sniping spots as well, but they can just not be as godlike as YCR's. Charge has its purpose and goal. Does it half the time. It is X's only vertical ability unless there are no springs. You make a loud audio cue. You have to dance around Eggmans and Knuckles with their defenses. Cream can just heal through the charge, which heals her and gives them her HP. Characters have ways to get past Charge. And something unfortunate with Charge is that if someone is low enough HP, like if somehow Knuckles or whoever is like below 14 HP, because 14 HP is the down/kill threshold of the move. Now, if I'm correct, it does always kill a person, but like if they're on their first life, the game will bug out and someone can escape from the charge freely. And this has happened multiple times with this charge bug. So that is one thing I hope can be addressed about a 2011X. Like I said, it's a little bit of a movement tool. It does its job, but it's not fancy or too good of an ability otherwise. So I hope it can get some touch-ups down the road. Next, for God's Trickery, it's a free teleport to a random person. Not much to say about it. It's your start chase for free button. Kill, shuts down someone, God's Trickery straight away. Does his job, get carried by the middle, Eggman runs off, peel out, so you get the picture. Only thing that sucks is that the red and orange cues for GT are not clear enough. I fully understand GT, so I would love that in the comments. You jump red sometimes, half the times you don't get hit, the other half you are. Orange or red are not clear enough from each other, to me at least. Too similar in colors. If there's a different one, I think it would be fine because you're either listening for audio cues or the color. And when I see something reddish, I'm thinking red, not orange. I think if it's orange, it needs to be brighter. Plus, an issue that can happen with God's Trickery is that if you are too close to others, you can hear their God's Trickery line as well. So you could make the right call if you're going off of audio, but you just hear someone else's God's Trickery, which can really mess you up as a survivor, and I hope that can be addressed as well. But now we get into the pain points of 2011X. He gets bullied by too many stuns that the team has to save each other. You can be doing good on him, but a good team will always be there to help each other, either stunning, body blocking, or whatever. And it only gets worse the bigger that a lobby is. Because you chase someone, you lose them, or someone else goes for a save, there's a cream. They heal up. You lose all your progress just like that. Eggman and Sonic are fast. They have speed and invincible moves to get away. You have to dance around Knuckles with his punch and counter. He can tank, like we've been mentioned before. Huge vertical hitbox with the punch as well. Like, Knuckles doesn't have too much once punch is gone and counter's gone, but he's still very good at wasting time. Metal's the tank, and while he damages himself, he can also just run around you, demanding your attention, and you just can't ignore him because the destructive charge stun is so long. And he can immediately have his Eggman or Tails right behind him as well. And Metal just wastes his time, leave him alone, he just heals right back up, stuns you the longest, and if you charge him, he takes the less damage from it unless you're in rage. Only Amy and Tails feel kind of worth chasing, in my opinion. Tails doesn't have anything but glide, and you can just charge him. He has no other movements, no protection mid-chase. And Amy could just have her bad cards, and you get a very clear audio cue. If she's running straight into you, you know she's trying to counter you. So you can play around an Amy. X just doesn't have enough power in chase to go after who he sees or he wants. He's not weak like people say, he's just mid, but his kit is made to find people alone and injured, not start chases outside of GT. Like I said, his only real advantages is that he starts chases fast. That is where it ends for 2011X, but that's where Rage comes in. The band-aid fix for everything, the comeback mechanic. Pauses the timer and exits, faster, more damage, stun resistance that slowly drains the more he is stunned. But needing a snowball / band-aid fix like this is not healthy design. 2011X, he needs to just have higher chase power. Because right now, if people are grouped up, 2011X cannot deal with them well. He needs those people out and alone by themselves. The next killers already have this solved. Colossus with his charge, grabbing multiple people, dragging them away from others to single them out, like Metal can do with the EXE, drag them away. And he could easily deal with mobility with wall climbs and whatnot. Plus, from test footage, has a 50 damage M1, so he can just 2-tap people. Even if his M1 it might be slower, or he himself is slower, it does not matter. Fleetway is fast, Chaotic has flight, tons of damaging abilities, range, and more. So he can deal with somebody from anywhere, and invincibility as well with his one spin dash move, and it gives him intel on everybody. Tripwire will have a mine, so if you know where people want to run, you have a head start just placing mines there, a grapple ability that will drag people towards her, and just straight up flight on demand, so you can just go places and just chase people, even fall on top of them maybe. You can just get to people. Like I said, every other killers will have easy ways to get around abilities and deal damage. Like I said, Fleetway's fast and chaotic. Colossus charge and block. Tripwire will just have mine, so that even if people are, playing around you, they can't just get hit out of position in unexpected angles. And could just pull you right back to her. So, X needs some lethality in his kit that is not a band-aid fix. He works, he's not terrible, but he just has no way to deal with multiple people being grouped up outside of range, and he cannot let Cream live because he's just not fast enough, and she will reset everything. Otherwise that, he just works, but he definitely needs love, which he will be getting down the road in another update with a rework and a remodel that he's getting. So, speaking of reworks and models, let's get into the art style of this game. Now, art style is not something I know how to talk about well. Character models are nice renders of the classic models, makes the game stand out that way, though some of Sonic's coils don't look too good, as well as X's. And the very apparent issue on the models is, why does classic X have that weird lighter blue patch on his forehead? Besides that, my only issue is the lighting. I feel like Green Hill could use a little bit less of an intense gray filter. Overall, with decent lightings, I think the filters could just be dialed back like 10% or so, because there are some lobby glitches where, depending on just, I don't know what triggers it, but just loading in, like the filters just don't work sometimes. And some of these maps actually look really good without the filters. Some actually really do. The only thing I like to see change, I guess is more map dependent than anything, is some more clear call out / locations on the map. Like, what if X's castle had a carpet color for each direction in the map? Like, north is green, south is blue, so on and so on. So someone could go on like, hey, I'm being chased in this colored hall. And hey, those who know the map don't even have to, or those who don't even know the map don't have to know the map. Just look at the color and be like, okay, that's where I need to be for my team. So that's what I'd like to see. Some little adjustments like that. Survivors are clear from each other, looking apart. You can tell who is who from a distance, though some characters do share the same cosmetics and some similar colors, because most characters in this game have a lot of colors, so they can get a little messy like that when multiple have kind of roughly the same colors or cosmetics. But overall, this is not too much of a non-issue. You can still tell who is who despite colors and whatnot. Let's talk about a better note on this game, the movement. Overall, this game has a great feel to the controls for the most part. In Survivor or asymmetric games, the movement is the #1 key to the factor of that game. And OM has that beat by a mile. I haven't played Forsaken or any other games besides DVD, but the jumping and the flow of the game is overall nice. The jukes are a nice mind game with springs and jumps, waiting for someone to jump ahead of you, behind you, IXE, slapping them for it. Movement like drop dash and build are surprisingly fine, just takes some getting used to. Middle's charge feels good once you learn to curve it and whatnot, wall clinging, hammer bounces. The movement in this game does feel good, because unlike other games that at least I know of, stuns are the only way to defend yourself, yet you have no pallets, you have no nothing else like that. So overall, it's just a good feel in my eyes. The only real issue off the top of my head is sometimes just the issues. You get caught on the edge of something, it stops your spring jump. It's already been said or not, but Eggman having no jump cooldown hurt so much, but that's been removed. Did not update that part of the script. let's get on to something better. The soundtrack of this game. Now that's a real topic that we could talk about. Overall, OM has a very solid soundtrack. Some of my favorite map things being X's Castle, it's how slow and quiet it is. Not perfect, sounds just a little bit off from what should be a normal special stage. Every map has its own character select theme as well as escape themes, which only add to the experience of giving each map its own identity. You can be completely tapped out and know immediately where you're going just by the character select screen within a few seconds alone. Anything that gives you clear information the fastest is always good in my eyes. When you're the last one alive, LMS activates. This is your time to shine. Every character gets their own LMS theme when they're the last man standing. My personal favorite being Metal Sonic. Shocker for the Metal Sonic main, but sadly it will be changed. That's just my thoughts on it. I think the new Metal one blends in a little too much with the others. Overall, every map has its clear visual identity and music wise as well, which is always good in my books. Plus, something good about the soundtrack is that we'll get into a bit is with the cosmetics. Let's talk about those bad boys. It's awesome how many options the characters do have this game for skins and whatnot. Each character having 5 or so slots to use, as well as recolors for the models. Skins like the Werehog down the road will have its own custom voice lines and has a custom PO already in the game. Tails Doll is a completely different character with a new walking animation. The Magic Wand alone from Amy changes her animations, so they can change animations based off of skins and other factors. So hopefully the same can be done for killers down the road and whatnot. Speaking of killers, all of X's skins have custom chase themes, as well as some new animations as well. The classic X skin is getting an animation overhaul as well. Miku X's new Rage Mode run, as well as music. The team has nailed it when it comes to skins. Some characters have more than others, but everyone is getting something every update. Emotes as well. I have nothing but good things to say about the cosmetics in this game, even the cursed ones. I'm looking at you, green Eggman mains. Survivors do feel unique in this game. Everyone feels different from the other with clear roles and playstyles. Shakeups to their gameplays for the most part. Amy, Knuckles, and Metal look around corners for saves. Eggman being able to just be a selfish asshole or going for help. Every character has their own ups and downs on some max, but overall, the kits are fine. But only stuff down the hill. But stuff only goes downhill up against coordinated teams. Solo queue, it can vary. Having to hope that your team is good. But for the most part, at least 1 or 2 people can come in for the save. What does happen though is that everyone gangs up on the EXE, wasting all of their stuns at once trying to save one person in solo queue, thinking they're the only one who can. But the team will know who's going for what, position themselves to help out. So overall, team play is what holds this game together, and the better the players, the better the team. It will only feel rough for 2011X because, like I said before, Rage is X's band-aid to dealing with teams. But sometimes that's not even good enough as well. But other killers down the road will just have more crazy abilities down the road that even if the team is good, they just will be able to deal with groups and more easier. But like I said, we'll just have to see down the road how all that comes apart. For bugs and whatnot, we have the charge bug, which, like I said before, if someone's on their first life and just randomly low enough on HP, or lower than 14, sometimes it just does not kill them, and they just break free. Metal can randomly get stuck after charging sometimes. It's been happening to me recently, like how he can get an EXE stuck into the wall. Sometimes after a charge, he just randomly gets stuck in the floor himself, and hitting him doesn't save it. He has to use another destructive charge to save himself, so Metal can effectively just softlock himself out of an entire round. EXE's getting stuck in the wall being stunned by Metal. What would they do if they don't have God's trickery? Tails can't glide straight away after using laser. Abilities do not go off cooldown when they say they do. You need to wait 1.5, 2 seconds to be able to use them again. More I don't know about. So there are some issues, but I know with time that will come down. My other big issue with the game is Hitboxes. This is my first ever Roblox game, and I've heard servers and hitboxes aren't the greatest for Roblox games, and you feel that in game. Sometimes as EXE, you wonder, how did I not hit that? It does not feel like, wow, how did I hit that? No, it is, wow, how did I not hit that? And on the other hand, as a survivor, sometimes you get hit from 3 feet away and double tap sometimes even with your speed boost. The classic X skin being smaller can make this feel worse as well. I've also heard that X does not have a hitbox directly in front of him, meaning point blank hits do not land. You need to be behind him just a little bit. And with jumps and turns, someone can land directly inside of you and whatnot. So overall, hitboxes are messy, and I hope that can be addressed somewhat, but Roblox and servers might not happen. The other big thing that I do hate is that when it comes to the OM Discord and memes and announcements, as someone trying to follow this game, the official Discord is on lockdown. It's a big game and all, and they want to make sure the server's ready, or whatever little reasons it could be locked down. I think it's just more so, of course I don't know the full picture, but big game, they want to make sure the server's ready. But what hurts me the most is going into game updates and announcements and the change logs and whatnot, because they do post updates and all that stuff in the server. What hurts me the most in this game is just seeing random memes mixed in between the news, because you could have genuine updates in those channels, but it just turns into memes halfway through. Like literally someone is called Sonic the Hedgehog and Shadow the Hedgehog on the mod team, and they are just saying fuck you to each other, and it's just like, I just want to know what's going on with the game, please. Also, the game has a in-game announcement system, but it has only been the in-game meme announcement system. I genuinely don't know if they've ever actually made an actual announcement with the in-game announcements, because it's always just memes, which has led to dev harassment, because they were talking about how Romeo, Bonely, and whoever on the dev team lost to a cream, and that only led to dev harassment, but they wouldn't stop making the jokes as well. So, it's back and forth. They would not stop. Plus, it covers like 40% of the screen, and there could just be multiple messages happening constantly back and forth. Something you do enjoy about the game is that it tells you what map is next. In the lobby, you can see a screen that tells you what is the next map, so everybody can be ready on Survivor and Killer side. It's a good addition if you ask me. If you have screens to see who will be EXE next, so you can be ready to know if it's you or your friends. I love OM, and I want to see this game do well. Boost it even a tiny bit if I can, and hey, I'm just a random dude who does not know how to do discussion videos or rant, but I just wanted to get this out because, like I said, I love this game, and I just want to point out my time in gaming, what I think so far in roughly under a month of playing. So hey, if you somehow made it to the end of this, hey, thank you very, very much. I just hope I was able to even make some hint of sense or some points in this thing. So just thank you very, very much, and I wish y'all a very, very awesome day.